Rock formations are some of the most incredible creations of nature. Their age can span hundreds of millions of years. Over all this time, rock formations are constantly subjected to natural erosion, resulting in the most bizarre shapes. In this video, I invite you to explore the most fantastic rock formations that look as if they were crafted by human hands rather than by nature. Enjoy watching. In the northwest of China's Hunan province, within Zhangjiajie National Forest Park, lies a fantastic natural creation recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Wulingyuan Pillars. Covering an area of about 396 square kilometers, there are around 3,000 peaks and cliffs with the most astonishing shapes. Most of them do not exceed 200 meters in height, but there are some pillars that rise nearly 800 meters. The pillars are separated by deep gorges with rivers, waterfalls, and lakes. About 380 million years ago, this area was covered with massive sandstone and limestone formations. Due to a combination of tectonic uplift and water erosion, the sandstones split into the many pillars that we see today. The most beautiful spot in Wulingyuan is Tianzi Mountain, or Son of Heaven. From its summit, visitors are treated to a magical view of the entire pillar complex with its picturesque valleys. Tourists who find themselves here feel as though they are embraced by an endless sea of clouds. Equally impressive is the area called First Bridge Under Heaven, a natural arch in the rock through which streams of sunlight pour. The Chinese consider this place a portal to the spirit world. However, the most popular peak is Avatar Hallelujah Mountain. Previously, this elevation was called Chiangkunju, but it was renamed in 2010. The reason for this was that James Cameron, the screenwriter and director of the famous sci-fi movie Avatar was so inspired by the beauty of Wulingyuan that he used these landscapes to create the floating Hallelujah Mountains on the fictional planet Pandora. Wulingyuan is truly a fantastical place where majestic quartzite pillars, shrouded in mist, connect with the heavens and show people just how incredibly beautiful our planet is. On the border of Chile and Argentina, in the Patagonian Andes, lies one of the deepest lakes on our planet. The lake has two names. Argentinians call it Buenos Aires, while Chileans refer to it as General Carrera. Both names are official. The lake is situated at an elevation of 208 meters above sea level. It covers an area of 1,850 square kilometers, with a maximum depth of 590 meters. Tourists come to this lake not only to enjoy the stunningly beautiful blue water. The main attraction here is the Marble Caves, located on the Chilean side. The Marble Caves complex includes three distinct features: a cave, a chapel, and a complex system of water-filled caverns known as the Marble Cathedral. The grotto complex was formed as a result of tectonic processes in the Earth's crust. Over thousands of years, the caves were shaped by the effects of wind and water, taking on their intricate forms. All the caves are made of natural marble and consist of metamorphosed limestones. This rock is incredibly strong. Interestingly, this complex is not only a mesmerizing natural wonder, but also the largest marble deposit on our planet. Experts estimate that this area contains about 5 billion tons of this natural mineral. The only way to reach these caves is by boat. The trip from the nearest village across the lake to the first cave takes about 10 minutes. Although traveling across such a deep lake might seem risky, many tourists who have visited this place agree that the enchanting beauty of the caves is definitely worth it. Natural arches are geological formations made of sandstone. They are enormous stone arches that have undergone natural processes over millions of years, resulting in their unique shapes. While natural arches can be found in various places around the world, a true collection of these formations is located only in Arches National Park. Arches National Park is situated in the U.S. state of Utah, near the town of Moab. The park covers an area of 309 square kilometers and is home to more than 2,000 sandstone arches and other geological formations. Each of these geological features has a unique shape. The natural arches and other formations in the park began forming around 200 million years ago. Before that time, an ancient sea covered the area, which eventually dried up, exposing sandstone monoliths resting on a layer of salt. Due to various natural factors, these monoliths were continuously reshaped into the forms we see today. Undoubtedly, the processes of erosion and weathering continue to change the geological formations. Unfortunately, some of the arches cannot withstand this process and collapse, but the most durable ones will last for a very long time. The most famous feature of the park among all the arches is Delicate Arch. It is a freestanding natural arch that stands 16 meters tall. This geological formation, like all the other arches in the park, is made entirely of Entrada sandstone. Delicate Arch is a symbol of the state of Utah. In addition to the natural arches, visitors to the national park can also discover other amazing geological formations. For example, there is Balanced Rock, a massive boulder perched atop a cliff, and Tafoni, geological formations that resemble cheese with large holes. Yehliu Geopark is located in the Wanli district of New Taipei City in northern Taiwan. The park is a popular tourist destination and attracts more than 1 million visitors annually. The geopark was formed around 4 million years ago as a result of the collision between two tectonic plates, the Philippine and Eurasian plates. This area is a narrow cape, stretching approximately 1.7 kilometers in length and only 250 meters in width. The climatic features of the geopark contribute to its unique landscape, which draws tourists with its fantastic scenery. The geopark is located in a region with a humid subtropical climate. For half of the year, the cape is exposed to northeast monsoons and coastal erosion, which shapes the limestone and carbonate rocks into unusual forms. The geopark is home to several incredible rock formations that showcase the bizarre masterpieces nature can create. One of these formations is the Queen's Head Rock. It got its name due to its resemblance to the busts of ancient Egyptian Queen Nefertiti and England's Queen Elizabeth I. When looking at this natural creation, you can indeed notice the resemblance to a woman's profile. The base of the rock, which resembles a woman's neck, is significantly thinner than its top. Each year, the thickness of this section erodes by 0.5 centimeters, which will eventually lead to its collapse. To prevent this, the geopark staff are taking various measures to preserve the rock. Currently, this attraction is restricted for tourist access. Additionally, specialists are taking care of the rock by using a special coating that slows down the rate of erosion. Apart from the Queen's Head, the Cape also features other amazing natural landmarks, such as the Gorilla Rock, Magic Shoe Rock, Elephant Rock, Peanut Rock, Tofu Rock, Dragon's Head Rock, Seabird Rock, Mazu Cave, and Sea Grooves. The Moeraki Boulders are a group of spherical stones scattered across Kikohe Beach on the southeastern coast of New Zealand's South Island. The size of the stones varies from 50 to 220 centimeters. Some of them have very smooth surfaces, while others are rough. These amazing objects look as though they were created by human hands, not by nature. Their almost perfect spherical shape is mind-boggling and makes one ponder their origin. Ufologists see these boulders as extraterrestrial capsules left behind by aliens. Some of the stones do indeed crack open, giving the appearance of something hatching from them like an egg. However, of course, this is not the case. The indigenous Maori people have their own legend about the origin of the Moeraki Boulders. It is tied to the canoe of the Ngai Tahu ancestors, which, after shipwrecking, turned into rocky shoals extending toward the sea from Shag Point. The boulders themselves, according to the legend, are the remains of eel baskets, gourds, and sweet potatoes. Scientists, however, explain the origin of the boulders in a completely different way. From a geological perspective, the Moeraki Boulders are concretions that formed around 60 million years ago as a result of the cementation of Paleocene mudstone in the Moeraki Formation. In other words, the stones were formed from clay, sand, and silt, and they were cemented by calcite. They emerged on the surface due to coastal erosion. The boulders contain magnesium, iron, and isotopes of oxygen and carbon. Interestingly, the concretions on Causeway Beach are not unique. Similar spherical boulders can be found on other New Zealand islands, as well as in Germany, the USA, Russia, and other countries. On the western coast of Madagascar lies a true natural wonder, the vast Bemaraha Reserve, composed of sharp limestone formations known as Tsingy. The Tsingy create a whole system of incredibly narrow and sometimes impassable labyrinths. This place is sometimes referred to as a limestone forest, as these rock formations resemble the trunks of burnt, dead trees. Most of this area remains unexplored because venturing deep into the sharp rocks is nearly impossible. However, there is a tourist route in the Tsingy de Bemaraha, designed for those in good physical condition. The route is quite challenging and includes many narrow passages and caves, as well as high-altitude crossings where special equipment and footwear are essential. The Tsingy de Bemaraha were formed millions of years ago as a result of erosion caused by rain. Over time, the rainwater gradually dissolved the limestone, shaping the sharp rock formations that resemble spikes. Despite its bleak and lifeless appearance, Tsingy de Bemaraha is home to a wide variety of animals and plants, some of which are endemic to Madagascar. Among the sharp rocks lives the rare species of lemur asterisk, Avahi clissae asterisk, and Siphacus. These animals are not deterred by the sharp stones and narrow caves. They have adapted to the region's conditions and now skillfully leap between the rocks. Interestingly, the Bemaraha Reserve was created specifically to protect these rare lemurs. In the northeastern part of Ireland lies an amazing natural creation known as the Giant's Causeway. This geological monument includes around 40,000 basalt and andesite columns, interconnected and forming a slope. The complex of columns creates a shape resembling a unique stepping stone pathway that starts deep underwater and rises up to the tops of the columns. The columns vary in height, with the tallest reaching up to 12 meters. Additionally, the columns have different geometric shapes. Most of them are hexagonal, but there are also columns with 4, 5, 7, and 8 sides. It is undoubtedly difficult to believe that nature could create such an extraordinary masterpiece, which is why the Giant's Causeway, like many other natural formations, has a legend about its origin. According to the legend, the legendary hero of Celtic myths, Fionn MacCumhaill, Finn McCool, decided to challenge a one-eyed giant named Benandonner, who lived on the island of Staffa on the other side of the sea. Of course, crossing such a distance without a boat would be impossible, so the hero decided to build a bridge across the sea. Gradually, he began driving columns into the seabed and eventually built a causeway to the island where the giant lived. However, Benandonner noticed the strange construction and set off toward Fionn MacCumhaill's home to kill him. The hero's wife saw the giant approaching their house, so she wrapped her husband up and told him to pretend to be a baby. When the Cyclops entered the house, the woman asked him to be quiet because her child was sleeping, and that her husband would return soon. At the same time, she offered the giant some pancakes while giving ordinary ones to her supposed child. For the giant, she replaced the pancakes with frying pans, which he could not bite through, while he watched in amazement as the child ate the normal pancakes. This made the giant think about how strong the one who built the bridge must be if even his child already had such incredible strength. After this realization, the giant fled, destroying everything in his path, including the bridge. Scientists, however, explain the formation of the Giant's Causeway in a completely different way. According to them, about 50-60 million years ago, this area experienced regular volcanic activity, during which molten basalt pushed through sediment layers and formed large lava plateaus. As the volcanic rock cooled quickly, it contracted and solidified. Since the compression occurred horizontally, the solidified columns took on this polygonal shape. On our planet, there are many astonishing rock formations that defy gravity. These formations are called balancing rocks or precarious rocks. They are geological structures that rest atop other formations. At first glance, they seem as though they could fall at any moment, but in reality, they are firmly attached to their bases. One such formation can be found in the Garden of the Gods Park in Colorado Springs. This enormous boulder, made of red sandstone, is 209 million years old. It is perched on a high ledge and looks as if it could tumble down at any second. The height of this balancing rock is nearly 11 meters, and it weighs about 700 tons. The boulder is composed of layers of hematite, coarse sand, silica, and gravel, giving it a bright reddish hue. The balancing rock in Colorado Springs is a very popular tourist attraction, drawing visitors to the Garden of the Gods specifically to take some striking photos with this natural wonder. The 12 Apostles are a group of limestone stacks off the coast of Port Campbell National Park in Australia. This natural complex is the main attraction of the Great Ocean Road and a popular destination for tourists. Every year, it is visited by about 2 million people from all over the world. These stacks were formed around 15 million years ago as a result of erosion. The wind and sea waves gradually eroded the soft limestone, leading to the formation of caves in the cliffs. Over time, the caves turned into arches, which eventually collapsed, leaving behind these uniquely shaped stacks. This process is ongoing, and new stacks will form in the future. The name 12 Apostles was given to this complex of stacks in 1950. Before that, it was called the Sow and Piglets, with the island serving as the sow and the stacks as the piglets. You'll agree that the 12 Apostles sounds much more interesting and appealing, especially to tourists. It's also a common misconception that 12 refers to the number of stacks. In fact, there were 9 of them, but after one collapsed in 2005, only 8 remain. The 12 Apostles are the most popular destination along the Great Ocean Road in the state of Victoria. The scenery there is truly breathtaking. People are willing to spend hours watching the stacks change color depending on the time of day. The most impressive views are at sunrise and sunset, when the sunlight bathes the coastline and the stacks in vibrant colors. Many tourists consider Bryce Canyon National Park, located in southwestern Utah, to be the most beautiful place in the USA. And this is no coincidence. Its landscapes captivate at first sight and make visitors return again and again. The park's main attraction is Bryce Canyon. Despite its name, it is not actually a canyon, but rather a complex of geological structures called hoodoos. From a bird's-eye view, Bryce Canyon resembles a massive amphitheater filled with thousands of towers, spires, and minarets. The unique shapes of these geological formations give the place a fairy tale-like landscape. Visitors often remark that walking through the canyon feels like being on another planet. Bryce Canyon is located at an elevation of over 2,500 meters above sea level, offering tourists breathtaking views of the local landscape. The scenery here is stunning year-round, whether in summer or winter. Bryce Canyon was formed millions of years ago. Unlike other canyons, it was created not by central but by frontal erosion, which led to the formation of geological amphitheaters in the Cenozoic rocks of the Paunsaugunt Plateau. As a result of frost weathering and river erosion, hoodoos gradually began to form, eventually taking on the whimsical shapes we see today. Hoodoos vary in height, with the tallest reaching 60 meters. The colors of the hoodoos are also diverse, ranging from red to orange to white, depending on the type of rock they are made of. Bryce Canyon spans a total length of 30 kilometers. It consists of several geological amphitheaters, the largest of which is Bryce Amphitheater. It is 19 kilometers long, 5 kilometers wide, and about 240 meters deep. The most visited spot in the canyon is its highest point, Rainbow Point, located at an elevation of 2,775 meters above sea level. From there, visitors can enjoy fantastic views of the Aquarius Plateau, Bryce Amphitheater, the Henry Mountains, and the Scarlet and White Cliffs. In Western Australia, just 3 kilometers from the small town of Hayden, lies Hayden Wildlife Park. Every year, hundreds of thousands of tourists visit this place. The park's main attraction is Wave Rock. This rock got its name thanks to its amazing shape, resembling a giant wave that seems frozen just before crashing down to the ground. Wave rock is 15 meters high and stretches for 110 meters in length. The rock is a very ancient formation made of biotite, which is 2.63 billion years old. Interestingly, wave rock is not a standalone rock but part of the eroded Haydn Rock Massif. This peculiar shape is the result of erosion and weathering. The first stage in this process was concentrated chemical weathering by groundwater around the base of the Haydn Inselberg. Chemical weathering of the rock by groundwater led to the formation of a concave pocket, resembling a sea wave. Then, over the course of 1 billion years, iron hydroxide, carbonates, and other minerals were gradually washed out by rainwater from the granite and flowed down the slope. This left wide stripes of yellow, gray, black, and brick-red colors on the rock. Interestingly, the color of these stripes changes depending on the direction of sunlight. The indigenous people of this region, the Ballardong people, consider wave rock a sacred place. They believe that the wave rock was created by the rainbow serpent god when he drank all the water in this area and slithered past the Haydn rock, leaving the imprint of his body. Additionally, the Ballardong call the area stretching from Augusta to the Great Victoria Desert the Dreaming Trail. Most of the mythology of the Western Australian Aboriginals is connected to this place. Besides the amazing wave rock, tourists in the wildlife park can also visit the hippo's yawn rock and a granite formation called the Humps. The Manpupuner weathering pillars are located between the Ilich and Pechora rivers in the Komi Republic, Russia. This geological monument, recognized as one of the 7 wonders of Russia, consists of 1 large and 6 smaller pillars standing in a row on a flat plateau. Each of these pillars has a unique, bizarre shape, formed through the process of weathering. Their heights range from 30 to 42 meters. The indigenous Mansi people have a legend about how the pillars were formed in this area. According to the legend, long ago, 7 giants were walking through the mountains with the intent to destroy the Vogel people. Their leader was at the front and was the first to climb onto the plateau. When he saw Mount Yalpingsner, he tried to destroy it by throwing his drum at it. However, the mountain was sacred, and the leader immediately turned into a stone pillar, followed by the other 6 giants. This is why the Mansi people never climb onto the plateau. Scientists have a different explanation for how these 7 pillars came to be on the plateau. In reality, they formed over many millions of years of weathering of the Ural Mountains. The weaker rocks gradually eroded away, while the most durable ones, composed of sericite quartzite schists, remained to decorate the plateau. The unusual shapes of the pillars attract tourists, but to admire the scenery of the plateau, one must undertake a fairly challenging journey and obtain permission to visit. The geological monument is located in a very remote and hard-to-reach area. It takes at least 2 weeks to get to the pillars from the nearest settlement, with most of the journey being on foot, except for a section of about 200 kilometers along the Ilich River. Therefore, only well-prepared tourists embark on this journey. However, for those willing to pay a significant amount of money for the stunning views, there is an option to reach the pillars by helicopter. The Árbol de Piedra is an astonishing rock formation resembling a withered tree with a thin trunk and a lush crown. In fact, its name translates as stone tree. This natural wonder is located in the Eduardo Avaroa National Reserve, in the southwestern part of Bolivia. The Árbol de Piedra cannot boast impressive size, standing at only 5 meters tall. However, this does not prevent it from being the most popular attraction in the reserve. Many tourists visit Eduardo Avaroa specifically to take a photo next to this curious natural creation. Like many other natural monuments, the Árbol de Piedra owes its unusual shape to corrosion. Corrosion is a process of mechanical erosion and abrasion of rock by masses of abrasive materials, such as wind, water, or ice. Over time, this process wears down the rock, forming a variety of shapes. Since the Árbol de Piedra is located in a desert, it was sculpted by winds carrying sand. The tree's trunk, made of softer materials like feldspar and biotite, has been most affected by natural forces, as these rocks are more susceptible to wind erosion. On the other hand, the broad crown of the Árbol de Piedra is composed of harder, iron-rich material, making it more resistant to erosion. Today, the trunk of this natural monument has become very thin and barely supports its lush crown. For this reason, tourists are only allowed to admire this wonder of nature from a distance. In the United States, in the state of Wyoming, lies an incredibly beautiful place, the Great Plains. This area is covered with dense green forests, endless prairies, and numerous rivers. Amid all this abundance of fertile landscape stands a solitary object that seems as if it doesn't belong here: Devil's Tower. Devil's Tower is a volcanic monolith that resembles a giant tree stump. Its elevation above sea level is 1,558 meters. Its absolute height is 264 meters, and it covers an area of nearly 5.5 square kilometers. Devil's Tower was formed about 200 million years ago due to the uplift of molten magma from the depths of the Earth. It is composed of dark red sandstone and siltstone with layers of shale. The name Devil's Tower was given because its lifeless sandstone relief starkly contrasts with the lush green landscape surrounding it. When looking at this area, one might indeed get the impression that this flourishing flora attracted the attention of demons who built their tower here. However, the native inhabitants of the state call this mountain by a completely different name: Bear Lodge. According to legend, two little girls were walking in the forest when they were attacked by giant bears. In a desperate bid for safety, they climbed a small hill and began praying to the heavens for salvation. In that moment, a miracle occurred, and the hill transformed into a mountain. No matter how hard the bears tried to climb it, they couldn't succeed. Eventually, they decided to retreat back into the forest, but they left behind deep claw marks on the mountain. For the local Native Americans, this mountain was considered sacred for a long time, and none of them even attempted to climb it. With the rise of mountaineering's popularity, many brave souls tried to conquer the summit, but for a long time, it remained unconquerable. Today, Devil's Tower is no longer an unreachable peak. A special safe route has been created for tourists, allowing many people to climb to the top of the mountain and enjoy the breathtaking views from above. Amid the endless deserts of Saudi Arabia, 45 kilometers from the ancient settlement of Taima, lies the unique rock formation Naslaa. This natural feature has sparked much debate, primarily due to the perfectly straight split that runs down the middle of the stone. Some people, particularly ufologists, believe that Naslaa was cut by a laser beam from extraterrestrials. However, aliens have nothing to do with it. The giant stone of Naslaa was discovered by the French traveler Charles Huber in 1883. It stands 6 meters tall, is 9 meters wide, and weighs about 24 tons. In the middle, the formation is divided into two parts, each seemingly balancing on small pedestals. This characteristic gives the formation an even more futuristic appearance. There are many theories about how this crack formed in the stone. Scientists believe that the formation may have split into two parts due to natural factors. This could have been caused by an underground tremor or water that seeped into the rock, and upon freezing, caused it to crack. It is also possible that Naslaa was split by human intervention. Petroglyphs, about 4,000 years old, are found on the top of the giant stone. It's possible that the ancient inhabitants of Taima wanted to create some sort of structure from the rock formation. Interestingly, primitive tools could have been enough to split the stone, as it is composed of hard but crumbly sandstone. The cut might not have been as smooth as it appears today, but over thousands of years, wind and sand could have smoothed out any irregularities. Unfortunately, it is impossible to determine definitively how the crack in the Naslaa formation originated, making this rock one of the most mysterious geological formations. The Drangarnir Sea Stacks are one of the unique attractions of the Faroe Islands. The name refers to two stacks. Stori Drangur, or the large stack, and Litli Drangur, or the small stack. Both are located between the islands of Vagar and Tintulmur in the Atlantic Ocean. Stori Drangur is a popular attraction among tourists because of its stunning arch-like shape. In the background, Tintulmur is clearly visible, which also looks unusual and resembles a rock more than an island. The Drangarnir Sea Stacks were formed over millions of years, constantly subjected to the forces of water and wind. Over time, the volcanic rock eroded, and a hole formed in the middle, giving the stack its arch-like shape. The process of erosion, of course, has not stopped and continues to slowly change the landscape of the Drangarnir Stacks. These two unusual sea stacks can be seen from the town of Bur, located on the island of Vagar. However, tourists prefer to be closer to these geological wonders. The route to the stacks is not difficult and is about 4 kilometers long. Travelers who embark on this journey are rewarded with fantastic scenery, featuring majestic cliffs, the vast ocean, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. And that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. Your engagement is the best reward for me. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Goodbye.